Hi everybody, Julia here from Accessorize Your Life, back with Don't Miss a Beat on the Streetz Friday Night Lights look. So for this Friday Night Lights look, I am going to just observe one of the holidays that is celebrated in the month of April and always on April 12th. It is, and forgive me for reading it off, International Day of Human Space Flight. That's right, we're going to look at that and do a look basically built around the idea of that theme. That's all I can say. So April 12th is actually the date of the first human space flight, and it was by a Soviet citizen, and that was on, again, April 12th in 1961 though. The first American human flight was on May 5th, a month later, in 1961, by Alan Shepard Jr. Now, he seemed to have orbited the moon or Earth a little longer. I don't know which it was, but he stayed up there a little longer, whereas the Soviet guy wasn't up there too long, but he was the first. And that's why we are celebrating the Human Space Flight Day. It's a major accomplishment in mankind. But most of us will remember Neil Armstrong. He was the guy who put his space boots or moon boots on the moon. Yes, he was. He set the record for the United States by landing on the moon, and he did that in 1969. Guys, I say all of this to say that humans in space is a really big thing, because first of all, you have to have a strong desire to want to travel into the unknown and literally not know if you're going to come back. That's in my opinion. Not for me. But I've always been interested in space. It goes back to when I was a child, because I was about 9 or 10 and I watched a lot of television back then. I mean, I loved television. And one of the shows, or two of the shows that dealt with space, I remember the Jetsons, but that was a cartoon. And I think a lot of these space shows were cartoons first. But Lost in Space was one of the ones I really liked. That was when the Robinsons took off and they had a unexpected stowaway on board who just made things worse. It got them lost in space. So that was one of the first shows I watched. That premiered in 1965. And then there was my beloved Star Trek. That came about in 1966. And what stood out to me was the actress Nichelle Nichols. She was everything. To me, she was the first black boss lady on TV. I mean, she really was, because most of the roles held by black Americans, whether men or women, were in servant positions. But this lady, her character, she was the boss lady. She was skilled, she was smart, and she was beautiful. She was beautiful. She's no longer with us, but she left a big mark on me, and I'm sure many other Americans. Now, she played Lieutenant, and I want to get her name correct. I found two different pronunciations for her name. One was Uhuru, or Hurura, is what she reportedly changed it to, which was Swahili, or it was pronounced Uhura. Whichever, I'm not sure, even if both of those pronunciations or either one of them are correct. But that was her character. She was a lieutenant, and she was in a technical position, and she carried it out so professionally and so well. She made history in so many ways. NASA even asked her to become a spokesperson and recruiter for the space program. And the year after she became their recruiter and spokesperson, you saw a rise in minorities and women being in the program for space. So how cool is that? And I believe she held that position until she died, pretty much. She did have some health issues, but she was always on point with her makeup, and that's what leads us into today's video. I think we're going to go right into the eyeshadows for this next bit here, and because it is International day of human space flight, I'm going to use this Elements palette. And this is by Adept Cosmetics. It's the palette I pulled for my Shop My Stash. It's like a baby blue. So let's just take that here. It's a matte. I like that blue. Oh, I think I'm going to use my finger. Ooh, yes. Just flying by the seat of my pants with these looks. Now, I'm almost feeling like I have raccoon eyes here. That's not what we want. Going in with Natasha Denona. Okay, lashes are on. I really tried to find some that felt more synthetic than natural. I don't know if I mentioned that the eyebrows were like up high, and I've always liked my brows to be up a little higher. Okay, I'm going to put on some earrings and I'll be right back. And I'm hopefully going to put up a picture so that you can see what Aurora looked like. Yeah, not quite like this. She looked much better, but this is my look for today. My Friday Night Lights look. Looking for earrings? Yeah, I'll be right back. Alrighty, I finished up the look with earrings and a lippy, and I'm liking this look a lot. Now, a lot of you out there are Star Trekkies or Trekkies or whatever. You know, it has a cult following. It is big. But I believe back in 67, Ebony magazine, they felt like the character Aurora, he was the most heavenly body for Star Trek. She was recognized by Martin Luther King as someone of importance and very, very important in our fight for freedom. The role that she played and how she carried herself in that role. I just grew up loving her as being the first black female to have such a role. And then came Diane Carroll, whom I admire a lot too, for her role as Julia. She played a nurse and she was a professional as well. So yeah, there were very few black role models in the day when I was little, but those two stood out to me. And I remember her fondly when I think of space, Miss Nicole. And I hope you like this look for Friday Night Lights, April 12th.